Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today we're going to take a look at the 1/12 Era, I think that's what it's called, Wolfman. The real estate offices of Logan Wolverine. Oh, I'm gonna sell you some property, bub. And that doesn't say a lot about the figure inside this box, just Wolfman. No other kind of branding. It just says, what does that say? 1/12 scale collectible action figure. But you get around to the back and then you realize, oh, that looks a little bit familiar. And I'm sure it's used in other promotional stuff, but I recognize it from the Mezco 1/12 Collective 5 Ronin Wolverine. A couple of changes, and it's not the exact design. This has been redone. There's no claws. The crinkles around it are a little bit different, but it's that same essence to both of them. I probably need to open 5 Ronin Wolverine sometime. So if you didn't see the pre-order and you just saw this in a store, you'd think, what in the hell is this? And basically what we have is a third-party, I can't say knockoff, they did their own thing, but they're using somebody else's license, so they can't call it Wolverine or Logan. The box is fairly high quality for being a third party. The reflective chrome right here for this Wolverine, I guess you'd call it. Same here. Really shiny, and the box itself is a little bit heavy. It kind of reminds me of Bandai's movie or manga realization figures. Got that heavy box surrounding the figure inside. Now the reason I got this, I don't really have a movie style Logan action figure. Plus they were touting this as seamless. It's got a skin over it. So I'm a little bit leery. I'm afraid I'm gonna get this out of this package. It's gonna fall apart in my hand and then I'd be kind of pissed off. But at the same time, I had to know. I had to figure out how this was gonna work. We have an extra set of hands here with bone claws. I guess I didn't realize this was coming with it. Looks like dog tags. In 1/1 scale. Comes with actual metal chain. And these are metal too, or at least they feel metal. Got Wolverine and his serial number, I guess. Oh, they're both the same. Wolverine on one side, Logan on the other, and then both sides have the same number. So that's pretty cool. I don't know, maybe I'll wear that around and impress all my friends. Looks like a separate little baggie for his sleeveless shirt. I'm sure that's gonna be fun as hell to put on. And then there is the figure. Okay. Looking at it right out of the box, I've had it open maybe 5 minutes, and there's some things that have already pissed me off, but I'm gonna look past those. I'm not gonna let that get to me. But this is definitely a younger Logan. I haven't watched those first movies in a while. I don't remember if he was actually this thin. I kind of remember him as much. Or maybe I'm looking at this now going, oh, yep, that looks just like it. But they did a good job of capturing a thinner, very muscular dude. Come around to the back, it just looks very natural. The hair application here and then down here on the arms. At first I thought, oh, that's just some black overspray just psh, psh, sprayed on. No, there's actual, looks like, you know, they're not actual little follicles, but it looks like little individual hairs all over it. Hell, I wish all my Wolverine figures had this kind of hair application on them. This is going to sound strange, but I'm not sure if there's an actual, well, maybe there is, an actual nipple sculpt, and then they came in with a darker color. So it doesn't look as natural as the rest of the torso at the moment, but it gets the job done. How's that? It looks like nipples. Claws that come on the figure, very shiny. I'm not sure if they're actual die cast. They kind of move around, and I'm a little bit worried about pinching on them. When I'm switching out the hand, it's a little bit tight, and I'm afraid I'm going to bend those. But they look fantastic, and they're the length of the forearm, so it's natural to go up in there for all you stickler Wolverine fans. Now the belt buckle, it looks realistic, okay? I'm not sure if it's metal or a piece of plastic. It doesn't seem like metal. And it's on a separate belt, so I've been messing with it, trying to get it centered because my OCD kicks in and it's gotta be in the middle. They really went out of their way to do it as good as possible to make it look like a scaled down pair of jeans. It's got the seams and it's got the different color for the threads there, but it just ends up, well, like a lot of cloth at this scale, it's a little bit flat. But really, the more I'm messing with it, the more it doesn't bother me. It definitely doesn't stick out at me as much as it did in the promotional shots, and I still pre-order it, so what kind of sucker am I? Down here, you've got some boots that are attached with a ball joint, and hopefully they don't just fall off. That's one of the things that have been killing me with this thing. But it's a pretty good sculpt. It works. It looks like leather. It is actually plastic though. So at the moment, all we have cloth-wise are the pants. We'll mess with the shirt here in a second. And then up at the head, it continues that realistic look from the torso, but it's a little bit soft. If you catch the light in the eyes just right, you see that glint, it looks awesome. But it doesn't change the fact that it just seems like a black dot in the eyes. Now it may be dark brown, brown. Maybe I'm not seeing something. It looks realistic. It loses a little bit of detail there. But the beard paint, it continues from the arms. It just looks like separate follicles traveling, what am I talking about? Growing out of the face right there. The likeness may not be the greatest, but that may be them skirting a little bit further around the edges of this license. The hair sculpt itself, though, is pretty close. With all the detail of the hair on the body and the face, I would have liked to seen a dry brush of a lighter brown or something. Just something to bring out a little bit more of the detail right here. Now, first up, these dog tags on this, whatever this is, it looks like something you rip off a Christmas ornament because it looks shitty even on cheap stuff. Here it looks even cheaper because of kind of the quality of the rest of the figure around it. They tried these little itty bitty dog tags. They look pretty close to the full size ones we got in the box, but because of the hole they had to drill to go on this little fabric cord, whatever this is, and the way it doesn't even lay naturally, those will probably come off. In fact, let's see if the head actually pops off here. Yep. And you can see the inner metal skeleton here with the skin down over it. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, this is some tough material. And that may have some pluses and negatives. The plus is that it may not tear as easy whenever you're moving the articulation around. Because the skeleton does seem to have movement to it. It's just I don't want to call it flesh. I really don't want to call it flesh. The covering to the skeleton, it's not as malleable as you would want it to be. But it's probably as tough as it needs to be to hold up to all this movement. It's the same thing at the hands, and like I said, I'm just scared as hell of bending the hell out of the claws as I'm pulling the hand off because it is kind of a tight fit. And it's also the same down here at the boots. You can pull those off. There's the metal ball on the end. Unfortunately, these pop off super easy. Pop the boot on, you try to move it around, and it just comes off. You can see that the boot has a full sculpt all the way up to the top, but it just whoop. It's too easy. Now I'm going to pull this other hand off. Oh, and I popped the belt as I was doing that. It just fits into a hole. Well, it just went back in the hole. That's not as devastating as I thought it would be. Let's try to move the arms up. You can see the skin pinching there at the shoulder as I bring the arm up. All I'm trying to do is put this shirt on. I'm not having much luck. What the hell am I doing? Even if I got that on, that wouldn't work like that. Maybe let's do it like everybody gets dressed, one arm at a time. While I'm moving this around, I'm noticing new stuff to the sculpt. Do you see those veins right there going down the arm? It's almost like this is getting as frustrated as I am and is just popping veins. Oh, just get that shirt on. I absolutely cannot get that thing on. To their credit, the shirt's not ripping all to hell as I try to do this. It is stretching, but I'm sorry, guys. I fail. I am no good at dressing small figures, apparently. I cannot get that damn thing on. This is such a nice sculpt and paint job that I don't want to cover it up. That's my excuse. That's how I'm going to justify that. But going over articulation, you can see that the skeleton moves down like that. Can look up. Got some tilt. Got some tilt. And you see me struggling with this. This is really hard to put. It's dense. How's that? This body, the skin covering the metal skeleton, really, really dense. And I don't know if the skeleton's loosened up a little bit as I've been messing with it. The arm wasn't that easy a minute ago to lift up, but it does come up to 90. You can come forward with it to about right there. It's not gonna, well, keep on going. Elbow. Holy shit. Comes all the way up. It may look a little bit weird, but because the muscles aren't actually flexing as the arm comes up, but that's not bad. Putting the hand back on to see how much that ball at the wrist gives you, it doesn't really give you a lot. It's mostly for twist. The torso, let's see how far we can bend this down. You can see the abs crunching. One movement you can get, the cover pushes it back up. Can arch back about there. Hip comes up to about right there, but because of the pants, it starts pulling down back here. There's no stretch to it. Back, out. The knee can come up to, well, back to there. Then it's sealed off, and then there's the ankle. Got a little movement, but like I said, it just comes right off. It may be because there's no gap right there. If it were to stay like that, it may stay on just a little bit better. Because of how this is bendy down here, you can get rocker and everything in the thigh. Oh wait, what just happened there? Interesting. I was able to push a little harder, and maybe it was the skin coming up off the ball, but now it seems pretty tight on there. But for a minute, the right leg was shorter, so I had to come back over here, push really hard on this, and that seems tighter too. If it comes off in the package, just push like hell up on the foot and it will stick, and then you'll get all your movement in the leg. For accessories, we talked about the dog tags. they're not that great. In the package, he comes with the hands with the metal claws sticking out. And then he also has hands that have the bone claws. These are definitely plastic. They're kind of bendy. You can move them around. Putting them on's a little bit tight. You got to kind of watch the claws, but that looks great. Even has kind of a bone color to it. That's all nifty and all, but I still love the metal claws. That's just Wolverine to me. Now to start out, since most people have a Marvel Legends or two somewhere, here he is with the Marvel Legends comic book Wolverine with a Casting Cave custom head. And then the Marvel Legends Colossus, just because I love that beard. Since the cloth reminds me of Mezco, here he is with the Mezco Old Man Logan and then the Mezco Batman. Little thin, little smaller. Here he is with the Marvel Legends Avengers Infinity War Black Widow and Bucky. Here he is with the Bandai SH Figure Arts Avengers Infinity War Black Widow and Bucky. Out of all the figures I pulled in here to compare with, this is the closest. It's still a little bit thin though. Head is a little bit smaller than these two. And then I lied, I do have a movie style Old Man Logan. This custom head's from a buddy of mine, Mike Lorenzo on Instagram. Give him a follow. And then the body is the Mafex Scarecrow. And actually, it kind of looks like this would progress into this. So as far as my movie Logan shelf is concerned, ooh. And purely for scientific purposes, because I know I would get hundreds of people asking what he looks like without the pants and boots. The belt is just a peg in a peg hole. This is Velcro on the inside. And yeah, even under the pants, the skin tone continues on. It's got a realistic, kind of splotchy look to it. And yep, he's got a twig and berries. They went anatomically correct with this body. I'm blurring this out. I'm sure it wouldn't set off any YouTube alarms, but why take that chance? But while I have it without the pants in the way, out of the box, the ball joint at the ankle was just barely stuck in there. And it stays on and moves around, but that's why it falls off so easy. If you take it and you push really hard, it actually pops. And it doesn't have a lot of range of movement like that, but like I said, it's bendy above there. So you can get rocker ankle, come back, you can go forward with it, and the pants kind of hide the awkwardness of the shin turning like that. So at the end of the day, not a perfect piece. It is a little bit frustrating. The ankles, remember, push really, really hard. The shirt, I can't get it on. That may be my own personal thing though. The claws feel a little bit fragile. Belt buckle likes to pop open. And no, it's not the most flexible thing in the world. In fact, is it weird that this figure with the skin over a metal skeleton body releases about the same time as Fison releases their female body? They're not even called Fison anymore. What are they called now? Anyway, that is weird, right? A little bit expensive, a little bit hard to get, but man, I can't help it. Looking at it, just standing there, it looks like a tiny little Hugh Jackman standing on the shelf. Not perfect. Likeness is a little bit off, but it's a little Logan. How's that? In your brain, you have a picture of Logan. You can look at this and go, oh, it is pretty close. Oh, not bad. The seamless body is interesting. I feel like they still have a ways to go, but like I've always said, after the articulation, after the sculpt, after we're getting the photo reel and they're nailing that down, I think the next evolution in action figures would be a body with a skin over it to hide all the articulation. You still get the movement, but you don't get the joints. This isn't quite there, but this is a step forward in that department. So basically, I'm pretty happy that this wasn't a complete dud, that I stepped out there out of my comfort zone of Star Wars and Marvel Legends and stuff I know I'm pretty much gonna like, and took a chance on this, and it didn't break my heart. I'm happy to have this on the shelf with the rest of my movie stuff. And I can't really say much more than that. I'm pretty damn happy. I'll have links in the description to where I ordered this from and the prices and all that. You can check it out for yourself. But yeah, this is coming straight out of here, going right into my display. If you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.